Venerable Michael of Klopsk, the Fool for Christ. January 11th. A noble-born ascetic conceals his identity to undertake the difficult path of foolishness for Christ, revealing truth and justice through prophecy and unwavering witness. A heads up in the spirit of transparency. Please be advised that this content may include ascetic extremes and prophecies of famine and bloodshed. Venerable Michael of Klopsk, also known as Michael the Fool for Christ of Novgorod, lived in the 15th century. He embraced the spiritual path of foolishness for Christ's sake, a difficult form of asceticism. He appeared mysteriously at the Klopsky Monastery of the Holy Trinity near Novgorod. He concealed his noble lineage, which is believed to be that of the Motovilov boyars and a relative of Prince Demetrius Donskoy. Around the year 1409, a man in worn clothing arrived at the Klopsky Monastery. Abbot Theodosius asked his name, but the stranger did not reveal it. Instead, he responded to all questions by quoting from the Psalms. During the church service, he joined the monks, chanting from memory as if he held the service books. After the service, the stranger located a vacant cell in the monastery. When the abbot inquired about his actions, the man pointed to a cross in the corner of the cell and to an inscription that read, "The cell of the servant of God, Michael." From that moment, the brotherhood accepted him under the name Michael. Saint Michael immediately began a life of intense asceticism. He never slept on a bed. He consumed very little food. He always went barefoot, even during the harsh winters of Russia. He performed unusual acts, not to draw attention to himself, but to humble himself and to conceal his spiritual gifts from others. He often spoke in riddles and allegories, which only those with spiritual discernment could comprehend. This chosen path of foolishness for Christ's sake allowed him to expose the sins of the powerful, to offer comfort to the afflicted, and to exercise profound gifts of clairvoyance and prophecy without seeking worldly recognition. The monastery once faced a difficulty in obtaining water, as the nearest source was a great distance away. Saint Michael instructed the sacristan to bring him a drink from where the gulls are calling. The brethren were initially confused by his words. After reflection, they understood he referred to a damp area on the monastery grounds. Saint Michael commanded them to dig there. When they began to dig, a spring of fresh water gushed forth. This spring continued to serve the monastery, providing for its needs. This event demonstrated the saint's connection to God's providence and his ability to discern hidden blessings. Saint Michael was known for his gift of prophecy. He foretold the birth of a son to the great prince Basil the Dark. He informed the prince's emissary that the prince's wife would bear a master for you and for all the Russian land. This son became the future Grand Prince Ivan III. The saint also predicted a severe famine in Novgorod. He urged the people to sell their grain at a low price before the famine worsened. Those who followed his counsel were saved from starvation. Those who chose to hoard their grain saw it rot, losing their stores and suffering hunger. Furthermore, he prophesied an attack on Novgorod by Prince Demetrius Shemyaka, warning the people of the coming bloodshed. These prophecies served as a call to repentance and a testament to God's foreknowledge, revealed through his servant. The saint did not fear confronting injustice, even when it involved powerful individuals. He publicly rebuked a boyar named Prince Constantine. Prince Constantine had plowed over a boundary line, taking land that rightfully belonged to the monastery. When the boyar dismissed Saint Michael's words, the saint prophesied that the river would wash away Prince Constantine's home and lands. This prediction came to pass, demonstrating the consequences of unjust actions and the power of God's judgment. After 44 years of spiritual struggle and service, Saint Michael reposed peacefully on January 11, 1453. Many miracles occurred at his grave, testifying to his holiness. The Church formally glorified him, honoring his unwavering devotion to Christ and his unique path of asceticism. His life stands as a witness to the power of humility and the profound wisdom hidden in foolishness for Christ's sake. He showed that true spiritual authority comes not from worldly position, but from selfless service and obedience to God's will.